CEO Christine Beach Bamani.
Good morning and welcome to our 8th annual Thanksgiving prayer breakfast. I'm so glad you're here with me this morning. Do you have your coffee? I do. We have a lot going on today. We're very excited, but we want you to share this video. Try to set up a watch party or go on our social media because today is going to be jam-packed with great stories of legacy, just our heart to care, coordinate, and connect. We hope it really just runs and permeates through everything we're going to do today. We're going to pray, we're going to hear stories, but most of all, we know that we can't do it without you. It takes a village, literally. So we're so thankful. We're going to be sharing how grateful we are for all of our partners and supporters and business partners, and most of all, our volunteers. So thank you. And right now, we are going to dive right in to an incredible story of some of the work going on. So let's sit back, grab your coffee, and enjoy.
In March, this was my home. At least it has a shelter, it has a bench, and it's a way to get out of the rain. But believe it or not, this was the safest place for me to be. I met countless police officers. The bus stopped and asked me if I needed a ride. But they were gracious enough to say, hey, it's fine, you can stay here. And thank God for this shelter, or I would have been soaking wet.
I first met Eric. He was staying in the area of a small city park and a bus stop. He'd staying there day and night, obviously heavily consuming alcohol. We had several reports about him being in the area with all his things surrounding him, luggage, all his personal belongings. We contacted him several times based on those complaints. He was always super friendly, super cooperative guy. And we knew we had to find a way to get him off the streets or he was just going to self-destruct.
I met so many countless people you wouldn't even imagine. I also found CityServe, which basically gave me shelter out of this shelter to an actual place where I can sleep, bathe, and stay warm. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be.
We work hand in hand with CityServe for all homeless issues. Anytime we meet a new homeless person, we try and contact or connect them with CityServe as soon as possible to do an intake and see what they need and how we can help them.
Without CityServe's volunteers, basically I would be sunk. They came and rescued me from obscurity. Today is fantastic because now I have a place to actually lay my head. I have a place that I can eat and I can concentrate on the future.
From the police standpoint, we've worked with other service providers in the past who had little desire to work with police or to help police. In this community, the police are the point people for the homeless community. We're always making the first contact. My partner and I are constantly in the creek and constantly in the homeless community, seeing what people need. And CityServe is really the only service provider that was willing to go down in the creeks with us and let us do that initial intro to get intakes and then make sure people have the services they need.
They don't just concentrate on one thing, which a lot of agencies do. They can only do one or two things. CityServe does it all, and that's amazing. They literally take the whole scope from obscurity and homelessness. You've got a chance. By the grace of God, here I am.
Wasn't that a beautiful picture of our community caring? That story just really touches me because I was a part of watching Eric and some of these others struggle, and to see their hope in them today is so meaningful to me. Another value we have is coordinating. And as you saw there, it took a lot of different people to coordinate, whether it's a faith group, whether it's volunteers, colleagues, our business partners, our cities. We're going to head over to Tim now and share a little bit more about that.
Good morning, and I'm so thankful to be able to host today's panel. And we have some special guests with us today, some great community service who've done so much in public service, working alongside CityServe and organizations in the faith community throughout the Tri-Valley. We have with us live, we have Mayor Marchand of the city of Livermore, Mayor David Halbert of the City of Dublin. And with us remotely today is Supervisor Scott Haggerty. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks for
very
having
much.
us, Tim. Yeah.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I know you guys have always come to the prayer breakfast, and it was a tradition that we wanted to continue. Even though we're dealing with the pandemic, it's important to bring the community together and talk about the important issues in the Tri-Valley. And from your seats especially, you guys have been community servants for so long. And, wanted to just bring you together to get your, kind of observations, some of your advice, some of your wisdom. And, want to talk first because you guys have really been active when it comes to solutions for those that are most in need. And maybe you could talk a little bit about some of your proudest accomplishments and things that you've been able to work on in partnership with others to serve those that are most in need in the Tri-Valley.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Tim, there are so many, and to pick even just a few is really tough to do. But I want to start by calling out Valor Crossings and a affordable housing project that we have completed in the city of Dublin that provides 65 veterans and families with affordable housing. And these are formerly homeless veterans who had no place to go, who now have a home, not just a roof over their head, but a real home, furnished, and something that they can afford ongoing with wraparound services that they need to help them be more successful in life. I'm very proud of that. But I'm also very proud of the partnerships that we've been able to forge here in the Tri-Valley. The cities are all working very well together. And a big example of that is taking the HEAP funds that we received from the county and cooperating them together to give to CityServe to do some really great work in the Tri-Valley. I know Mayor Marchand is proud of that as well, and I'd just like to say it's a great working relationship that we've built. That's one thing I'm very, very proud of.
And we're proud of that partnership as well. And you mentioned Valor Crossings. One of the other great things about that is it's right on the BART line. So, those that are most in need have access to public transit. So that's a great project. Mayor Marchand, I know you've done a lot on affordable housing as well, and you've got some projects that are pretty similar that you're proud of in the city of Livermore.
That's right. As we all understand, homelessness is a regional problem. It's not just localized. But I'm very proud of the work that Livermore has been able to do. We have a Vineyard 2.0, which is going to be coming up out of the ground with the wraparound services that Mayor Halbert talked about. We've also worked with Eden Housing to provide 130 affordable units right in the middle of our downtown. That's primarily workforce housing. Also, we're working with Interfaith Housing to put another 130 or 40 units on the City Hall campus. Primarily for seniors and for veterans. And I'm very proud of the Chestnut Square project that went in. You also know the Pedrosi Foundation. Well, this is, Pedrosi Common is the street for that. But that's 72 units of affordable housing for seniors, some homeless, 44 units for families that are affordable. But one of the things that I'm most proud of, and this is what drives us, is that there was a homeless senior that we placed there. Her name is Marie, and she had nothing. She was homeless. So the City of Livermore staff took up a collection and bought her the household items that she needed. And she sent a thank you to us. And I just would like to take the moment to say, I would like to thank the City of Livermore for the most wonderful gift ever. No, not the wonderful needed household items and the food card, which I needed so much, but the gifts that you gave me that will last forever. Thank you for the hope you placed in my heart, your gift of love and acceptance, and most of all, that somebody really does care about me. You made me feel important, remembered, and loved. Wow. That's why we do what we do, is to help people that so desperately need it.
Well, and that's powerful. And, sometimes we get caught up in unit counts and we can get caught up in the stats. But when you hear something like that, it's transforming lives. It's truly saving people's lives.
And she feels loved. That's remarkable.
That's amazing. And we have Supervisor Haggerty with us. And it's 24 years. Thank you, Scott, for your work in Alameda County and bringing social services and critical areas of need in the Tri-Valley. And maybe you could share with us an area that you're most proud of in service to the Tri-Valley during your time in office?
I think that's really a difficult question. And the reason I say that is, first of all, as an Alameda County Supervisor representing District 1, you have to convince your own colleagues that there's really a need out here. And I think that's an ongoing battle every day, every board meeting. You have to advocate for the Tri-Valley because, quite frankly, We all know that the need is greater up in the Oakland area. They have 8,500, 9,000 homeless people. But there's still people living under overpasses, in fields, in their cars. We have families in their cars here in the Tri-Valley. So I think that's the most difficult thing, and I think I'm proud that I've been able to show my colleagues that it's important to take care of the vulnerable populations down in the Tri-Valley. I think, one of my most recent accomplishments is really something I'm particularly proud of, and that is we're partnering with Crosswinds Church, and we're building 30 tiny homes out on their property to house our homeless population. So I think I'm proud of that. It will get them, we'll be able to give them wraparound services and hopefully get them, up into rental housing in the future and keep moving people in, through, and up and out. So I think that I'm really proud of the tiny home project that we have going, and I think that it's going to be a great project.
From your vantage point, you've been here for a long time, you've seen the needs evolve and change. What do you feel are the greatest unmet needs here in the Tri-Valley for future leaders, whether in the public sector, community-based, or faith community to address?
Well, I think, I kind of answered this question in my last answer, but, first of all, it's convincing my colleagues that there's a need out here in the Tri-Valley. But, we have a couple of good community-based organizations out here, and quite frankly, I think it's an issue that we need to keep getting them more dollars so they can have create a greater access to services. I think that's pretty much the challenge, is really getting my colleagues to understand that the situation is not only bad up in Oakland, but it's bad down here in the Tri-Valley.
So we've talked about a lot of the different needs, and you have a lot of people that are watching at home right now that they want to serve the community, whether they're just individuals, whether they're part of a church congregation, part of a community-based group. What advice would you give those that are home that care about these issues or other issues in the region? What advice would you give them? And how do you think different groups can collaborate together better? The public sector, the community-based groups, the faith community. From your vantage point, what advice would you give?
Well, one of the things that happened when I became mayor is I wanted to get to harness all the energy that there was in the community to serve the community. So I started the Livermore Community Service Council and came to a prayer breakfast here in Dublin and saw that all these tables were set up with CityServe, and they were already doing the work that I was trying to do all over again. So what I recommend is let's not reinvent the wheel. There is a tremendous amount of good that's being done out there, and CityServe is doing a marvelous job coordinating all of that energy, all the faith-based groups, all the people that want to do good in the community. So come together. Communication is extremely important. Let everybody know what you're doing, and at the same time, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Work through CityServe, because that's really a clearinghouse of all the good information and all the great work that's being done in this community.
Yeah, and coordinating is one of the big three cornerstones: caring and compassion, coordinating, right, connecting. Those are all cornerstones of what CityServe is all about. Mayor Halbert, 18 years of service as an elected official in the city of Dublin, and now moving up into service. Thank you for running for county supervisor and fulfilling now working on behalf of the entire region, even in a bigger role. Maybe you could share with us your thoughts, what you're most thankful for your time in office in Dublin, your optimism for the future in the Tri-Valley as you move on to be a county supervisor, and as a man of faith, your prayer for the region.
Yeah, I would say that serving, again, with great people, and I've had great mentors. Tim, you as my mayor, as a city council member, and Mayor Marchand and other mayors of the Tri-Valley that I consider to be my friends and my mentors, equally blessed. So I want to echo that, but I have to say it's all about the people. The people of Dublin are amazing. The people of our Tri-Valley are amazing. They are resilient. They are compassionate, just great, great people. And as we grow and as we change, I've seen that we've been able to continue to have that. And so to all the organizations, the wonderful people that keep us together, I feel blessed that we have them, and that gives me optimism for the future. Let me say also, I know we're going through very difficult times, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it reminds me of the biblical phrase that all of these things shall come to pass. And so my prayer that I pray every day, my prayer for the Tri-Valley and my prayer for future elected leaders is to always say, we know that God is in charge, and that I would say that thy will be done. And so whatever we're in the middle of today, it too shall pass, and that God's will be done. And that gives me great solace. That gives me great hope for the future. And I will say that I've said it before, I'll say it again. Dublin, the Tri-Valley, has greater days yet to come. We're headed in the right direction. We're going to get through the pandemic, and we have great days yet to come.
Well, I just want to thank you. Thank you for your public service. Thank you for everything you've done, to make a difference in the Tri-Valley. Thank you, Supervisor, for the work you've done, fighting for those that are most vulnerable, helping to meet the region's needs. Know that we will continue to be praying for you as you take on life's new adventures and new endeavors, and trust that you'll be praying, for the region and, for those that are most vulnerable. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
City Serve of the Tri-Valley would like to honor and thank Pleasanton Mayor Jerry Thorne for his years of service to our Tri-Valley community.
Thanks, Tim, and thank you all for your incredible leadership. As we enter into this Thanksgiving week, our third value is to connect. So we're going to do that right now. All of us, we're going to pray for our region and our cities.
Friends, brothers and sisters, grace and peace to you. May the Lord bless you and keep you.
The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you.
The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace.
May the Lord cause you to increase and abound in love for one another. May the God who gives you endurance and encouragement give you a spirit of unity as you follow Christ Jesus.
May you not be anxious for anything,
but in everything by prayer and petition with a thankful heart, present your requests to God.
And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit.
May it be here in the Tri-Valley, here in Dublin, here in Pleasanton, here in Livermore, as it is in heaven. Amen.
At City Serve of the Tri-Valley, we have an intervention team that works with our unsheltered individuals in Livermore, Pleasanton, and Dublin that consists of outreach workers as well as case managers. And we work together to find and work through barriers and obstacles that our clients have. On a day-to-day basis, we're working with the police department, we're working with other organizations to collaborate with them to find solutions for our unsheltered individuals in the Tri-Valley, and working to fix the obstacles that they are facing in the moment.
So a couple of weeks ago, I was at the creek and I was not doing well. And things were happening to me that I was unaware of because I was on so much drugs and alcohol.
For the pandemic, I was living down the creek at Walmart. It was hot, it was dirty, a lot of rats running around. Just not a good place to live. A lot of drugs, just not good.
On a daily basis, we get a call from PD, or we will get a call from another member of the community that sees an individual that needs help, and our team will go out and give them assistance with facing those obstacles.
City Serve came down to the creek, made themselves known, introduced themselves to everybody. They went from tent to tent, wanted to know if anybody needed anything, if there was anything they could do for anybody.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't, just like today when they come and give me food or anything, it was astonishing to me.
Some of the obstacles that our individuals are facing are no identification, no income, disconnection from family, disconnection from society in general. Some have been chronically homeless, some have just become homeless. Some are facing domestic violence issues, and others might be facing issues that could be solved quickly through employment. The reason why we do this is not just, to get people off of the street, but this is really to connect them back with the community as a whole person, and give them dignity. And be able to give them hope in whatever their circumstance is.
They're working on getting me housing so I don't have to go back out on the street, so I can continue to go up the ladder instead of down the ladder, which is what I've been working for. That's my goal. They're helping me reach my goal.
CityServe has helped me to be alive, to stay alive.
I do this job because I love it. I love that our unsheltered are getting served, that they are working towards something, that they're not just a client, but they're also a participant in their own journey. And I feel like that is what sets us apart as an organization. We work hand in hand with people through whatever obstacles they're facing, and I just enjoy it. I just love what I do.
My best possible future is a good job, off the streets, to be a grandmother again, where my kids aren't ashamed of me, embarrassed of me.
If I could give the homeless a voice, the one thing that I would tell people that are maybe nervous to work with them is I honestly feel that everybody's one paycheck away from being in the same position. And we have to work together to build community. And I think that the more that we can build community with those individuals, the more we're going to see them come away from being homeless.
Hey, thanks again for tuning in today. For 8 years, we have gathered together to have these breakfasts as part of a community event to inaugurate the whole holiday season. And originally when Tim Sobrante and I got together and started this whole thing, we thought, what's the best way that we can just focus on those that are the most vulnerable in our community and all the organizations that were part of it. And I want to take a personal moment here just to say thank you for all those individuals, all those businesses, all those partners that have joined with us in CityServe for this season. I mean, it seems as if the pandemic has brought more and more needs than we've ever seen in our community and ever seen here at CityServe. And for all those that have jumped on board, I just want to say we are so appreciative and so needed your help during this time. And I do want to ask, I mean, as we're getting into what many are saying, the peak of the pandemic, on behalf of the vulnerable in our community, on behalf of those, as bad as what you and I are probably going through, there are those people in our valley that have it a lot worse. And so I ask if you can do anything to give and help us help them. Help us partner with the government agencies and the nonprofits so that we can ensure everyone gets that place of shelter and that place of vocation and that proper health care. We're here to help them, and you've been a big part to ensuring we get that done. There are many ways you can give. I mean, there's Venmo and there's some things that are on the screen before me that you can look to partner with us, and we need you right now. And so I just want to say, hey, thank you for all that you've done, and I do wish you and your family a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you so much for investing. Your heart and soul has gone into this organization, and I've only been here a year, and when I came, the foundation was laid. And little did I know, just a few months in to starting this new fantastic job, a pandemic was going to hit. And I'll tell you what, even though it's been tough, it was really a crash course for me because I had to grab my group. We had to go out. I've been in those creeks. I've been in those hotels. I've helped people in their cars. I've seen the elderly and brought them groceries. I'm not asking you guys to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm very passionate about it. I love the work that we're doing. I want to continue it on. So we just want to thank you. We want to continue to care. We want to continue to coordinate, and we want to continue to connect. So thank you so much for connecting with us today and for just logging in and seeing all the great work that's going on, and you're a big part of that. So have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and we look forward to partnering with you in the year to come.